Today, we're going to be talking about contacting your elected officials and also identifying who your elected officials are. Even if, that's the step you want to take, that's a great step to take. We talked about this a little bit when it comes to elections. I thought it was important to talk about this. We mentioned it a little bit during the Know Your Rights training, just to talk about the fact that you can contact your elected officials anytime, and it's a way to hold them accountable between elections, a really important way to do that. Contacting elected officials. So, like I said, in the last two trainings, we talked about knowing your rights. And one of the things that you have a right to do is make your voice heard. You have the First Amendment right, and you can exercise that with your elected officials. We always want you to remember that your voice is extremely important, that you can influence policy, you can influence decisions that are being made by your elected officials, and that you don't have to wait for an election as much as it's important to vote and to make sure that you're voting in elections. Between elections, you get to tell elected officials what it is you want to see happening or what it is you don't like that you're seeing. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Your voice is important. All elected officials work for their constituents. So if you are in an elected official district, then they are working for you. They're working to make the community better for you. So you get to weigh in on what that looks like and also to hold them accountable for the choices they make. And it's just a really crucial form of democratic action. We say vote, but also hold your elected officials accountable and use your influence as a constituent to help them make better decisions. So the first step is knowing who your elected officials are, because we have a lot of them. We have the local ones, we have the state ones, we have the federal ones. And sometimes, are you known for some time and then there's an election and somebody else is in that office, or there's levels of government that you're familiar with and others not so much. Totally cool. That's why they make things like this site that I'm showing you now. There's a couple of different websites that you can look up your elected officials on. I like this one because it seems very up to date, and also it has pictures so you can see what your elected officials look like. For local officials, that can be really helpful because you might actually just pass them on the street and it's nice to know who they are. So I like this particular website. It's called Who Represents Me NYC, and the web address for it is mygovnyc.org. That's what it looks like. So to get started on this, go ahead and open the app on your phone that you use to access the internet, and then type in mygovnyc.org, and it'll take you to the page that looks like this. So Who Represents Me NYC. And this one is NYC specific. It'll give you your elected officials at every level. So local, state, and federal. It pulls from New York City addresses, and it's run by the CUNY Graduate Center and the League of Women Voters of New York. So type that in, and then what you're going to do is either you're going to manually enter your address, which is what I'll show you on the screen here in a second, or you can say use my current location. One of the things to keep in mind if you use that automatic use my current location, if you're trying to find your own, especially local representatives, make sure that you're doing that from like your home or the place where you're registered to vote, just so you are getting the local elected officials in that area. If I was downtown or something and I did that, I would get different local elected officials than in my apartment. So just keep that in mind. So I'm going to show you, I think it's easier with this and just more straightforward to just enter your address. So I did that with the building's address, 158 East 115th Street, and it'll pop up. You should see it, and then you can just select it. We're going to start out looking at your city or local elected officials. You're just going to put your address in that bar, and it'll bring up all the elected officials that are specific to you in your area. So starting from there, the first group of elected officials you're going to see are your city or local representatives. This is Elsie Encarnacion. For District 8, she is our new city council member. You may have a different city council member, which is why it's important to enter your address where you live, because even if you are not a registered voter, you are a constituent of this elected official. So just where you live is the place where you'll get the information about who your elected officials are. So this is Elsie, our new council member in District 8. What you'll see here is her email address. So that's a clickable link. You can just click on that email address and it should open up in whatever app you use to send email. We'll look at that in just a second. You can go to her website, and then there'll be a list of where all her offices are. If you want to go to one of her offices. Those are the office locations you can call. If you're on your phone, you can just click one of these and it'll dial automatically. We'll talk about that in a second too. A lot of elected officials will have multiple offices. So you see, like for hers, there's one that's local in East Harlem, and then one that's local in the Bronx, which is part of the district that she represents as well, and then a city hall office as well. So depending on what your concern is or where you're located, a different office that you contact. We'll talk about how to take that out in a little while. It's more specific when it comes to federal elected officials that you tend to want to call them at their Washington office. We'll talk about that a little bit more. So then you can see what the district is. So you can see that 158 is there in that district. So we keep going. We'll see our community board. I'm just going to go through the same contact information, also links to social media, the Manhattan District Attorney. So some of these are going to be like borough-wide, the Manhattan Borough President, Brad Holman Siegel, and this is their party affiliation. For a bunch of the local ones, you'll see D and also probably WF. D is Democrat and WF is Working Families Party. So they're running under the Working Families Party platform as well, or they ran under it. So we see Mayor Mamdani, contact information for him, and the NYC Controller, Mark Levine. So all of these, again, clickable links and clickable phone numbers. Let's not forget Jamani Williams and the public advocate. So those are all of my city elected officials. Yours, again, may be different. That's why you want to check this out on your own. So we looked at city, then we want to scroll back up the page. I'm doing that click on the left here and click on state. So we see our state assembly members, same thing, contact information, our state senator, offices, contact information, district, and then the governor and other statewide elected offices. So you have the contact information, websites, social media, phone numbers for anyone who represents you in there. And again, just to show you for federal, same thing. You're going to click where it says federal, and you'll start seeing your House of Representatives, elected officials, your senators, again, showing you all the contact information in here, and everyone who is a federal representative. So you have all of that at your fingertips through this website with all the links to their contact information. And just to show you what that looks like. So let's say we want to contact Elsie Encarnacion, council member. We're going to click on her email address and it should pop up with our email provider. When I click on that, her email pops up, asks how we want to open it. We'll say Gmail, and then it'll open up a new email message that's addressed to her, and we can write our own subject line and fill it in. I wanted to note too that especially with federal elected officials, sometimes they don't have a regular email address that it goes to, but they have a form that you fill out to contact them on their website. Just treat this like you would an email. Sometimes they ask for information like your address and stuff just to make sure that you're a constituent, and we'll talk about why that's important to identify in just a second, but just don't be put off by that. I think it's because the volume of messages they get is bigger that they have something on their website that sort of tracks them. But let's just look at that with SBAT. So you click on SBAT's contact information, and actually it gives you a link to click over to. But you see, this is how you would contact him. So you fill out the basic information about yourself, and then you go to the next step to then put your message in. So just treat it like an email with the couple of fields you need to fill out beforehand. But just know that that's getting to them in the way that email would as well. And also, like I said, if you're looking at this Who Represents Me NYC website on your phone, you can just go ahead and click on these phone numbers, and they'll go directly to your phone. It'll ask you what you want to open it with. You can just say your phone, and see it'll be in there automatically, and you just hit call. So that's a straightforward way to get connected directly to their office if you want to call rather than send a message or email. Here are some tips about contacting your elected officials. One thing, if you're leaving a message, they'll remind you to do this on their message as well. Or if you're talking to someone, they'll ask you for this. But make sure you say your street address. And the reason you do that is because you can call elected officials that are outside of your area, your state, whatever. But there's a certain weight that your comments have if you are an actual constituent of an elected official. So they know that they represent you. If you tell them your street address, they know know that you're in their district or that you're in their state. And so they know that they actually are one of your elected officials and that they are accountable to you in that way. So make sure that you do that. You can say your full name if you want to. You can say your first name. You can just identify your address. That's okay too. Your call can be short and to the point. It doesn't have to be really long. Just identify what the problem is and what you want them to do about it. And if there's specific issues that you're interested in contacting an elected official about, you can look up scripts for what it is to say to them. We'll look at that in a little bit more in a minute. So if you'd rather have something to say, there is likely a script that will help you say what it is you need to say in that call. I find this is really nerve-wracking for me. I don't love using the phone, but I've done this before. I practice what I'm going to say beforehand, especially if I don't have a script in front of me. It'll just be like, this is what I want to say. Like, I want to say my street address. This is what I think the issue is. This is what I want you to do. I could say, don't vote for this, but I get it thought out in my head. You can even write it down for yourself and make a script, but I get overwhelmed if I just get on the phone and don't know what it is I'm going to say. So that can be helpful. During business hours, you may still get a voicemail, which is fine, but you might get somebody who works in the office that you would just tell your comment to, and they're there to take down your information. But if you really don't want to talk to someone, call after business hours, call on a weekend, leave a message. It'll still get counted just like if you did talk to someone. So if that's something that makes you feel more comfortable contacting them, feel free to do that and know that it counts just as much. If you're really not into the phone at all, emailing your elected officials is totally cool. That's a great thing to do as well. You're also making contact with them. Do it however makes you feel comfortable. And if you don't feel comfortable doing this, that's fine too. But if the step today for you is to know who all your elected officials are, that's fantastic. And then in the future, if you need to contact them, who you'd be reaching out to. But just know, however you contact them, if it's a way that's comfortable for you, then that's fine. Now, if you start doing this and you're like, actually, I'm really into this. I like calling my elected officials. I like asking for these policy changes or thanking them for things that they've done well and then pushing them to do more. If this is something that you are very into, or you have a specific issue that you're very passionate about, there is a website with accompanying app. And I just sort of looked at the website for this. We didn't really go into the app, but the app is quite similar. It's called 5 Calls. And the whole reason this exists is to make this kind of calling advocacy easier for people. And they have everything listed by issue too. So they'll have like the most current issues where they need people to contact their elected officials, and then they'll show you how to do it. But let me just walk you through that real quick, just what this looks like. As you can imagine, one of the top issues that they're asking people to talk to their elected officials about is opposing funding for ICE. That's one of the big ones right now. So what you're going to do is just type in 5, the number 5, calls.org. And what you'll get is a website that looks like this. You'll see that I had already set up my location, but I'll show you how to do it. So mine said New York already, but I'm just going to say change location so I can show you how to do it. And you can just do your zip code on that. And then you'll see a list of issues of interest. A lot of them right now, like I said, have to do with immigration. So if that is something that you want to see the policies on that change, this is a great place to start. I just wanted to show you what I clicked on was keep ICE out of your DMV data. So this is actually something that has been done at the state level for us in New York. And this call would ask Eddie Gibbs to actually pressure other people in other states to make this policy as well, that ICE can't access your DMV data. I'll show you what that looks like. So for anything that you click on in 5 Calls, you can also look up topics if there's something on there that you want to talk to your elected official about, but it's not one of the top things. So you can search that as well. But for any of these, so I'm going to look at this ICE DMV. 5 Calls will give you some background information about the issue. What is the current state of this particular policy? What is being done? And then it will identify for you who is the most appropriate of your elected officials. And sometimes elected officials outside of your district, sometimes they'll have you do that, but mostly it'll be contacting your own elected officials. And they'll identify for you who is like the most responsible for this particular issue and who should be held accountable for it. So they'll tell you, of these, we're asking you to contact Eddie Gibbs because we think that he's the one that this would be most effective in reaching. What you're going to do, you'll get the number right here. There's a script for you if you want to use it. If you don't want to use it, you can do your own and just make it say this however you want to. Or if you want to call about something that's related, you have their number there too. But if you're leaving a message about this particular issue, it also gives you the option at the end to document how your call went, just so if somebody else makes a call like this, they'll know what to expect. This is the script, and the options at the bottom. Once you've made the call, you can say, the number was unavailable. That's a good thing for them to know, because if that's not the right number, they need to update it. You left a voicemail, you had contact with someone in the office, so you talked to somebody directly, or that you read through this and decided skip, you don't want to do this call, but you might do another one. So that's just helpful for other people that are doing the same thing. One of the things about 5 calls is that it's based on a lot of people making these calls, a lot of people pressuring elected officials to change policies or to do certain things. It's nice to send that message along to whoever might be contacting them next. And I wanted to show you one last very specific way of sending something to a particular elected official. So during our Know Your Rights training, we talked about your constitutional right to film, document, take pictures of law enforcement, including federal agents, which includes ICE, Border Patrol, any federal agent that is engaged in any law enforcement activity, but especially related to immigration. And to that end, our state attorney general, Letitia James, has made a website where you can upload any documentation that you have of having witnessed immigration enforcement thing that ICE or Border Patrol or any of those federal agents are trying to do. This is to make sure to hold ICE and CBP and any of these agencies accountable for their actions, because we've seen that they have trespassed on people's rights really badly in other states. So Tish James wants to make sure that they're being held accountable for these actions. She's the attorney general, so she can make that happen. She wants evidence of things where they have overstepped, or even where they may be acting within their own sort of rules, but those rules are not New York state laws. They're still breaking our laws. So anything that you see, you are encouraged to upload here. I'll show you what this portal looks like. It's really cool that she made this. I think not many states have this particular thing. So what it is, I'm just going through the form. You can share your information if you want to. You don't have to. It can be anonymous if that's a concern. If you are involved and you have an attorney, you can put their information. You'll share the location. Again, thinking about those things that we mentioned before with salute. So like making sure that you're saying where you were, how many agents you saw, what did they have on them, what were they doing? You'll say the date, the estimated time. You can share your observations of the incident in the comments here. And then you'll also have a place where you can upload up to 5 photographs. You can tell them how many you're going to do. And then you can upload a video as well. And then at the end, it's just saying you understand that this may be used in further litigation and just that your report is true and accurate. So that's a very straightforward way to share that specific kind of information, which I think is really important given how ICE has been behaving recently. Another thing I wanted to point out too is that in the top right-hand corner of the Who Represents Me website, there's translation services through Google Translate for tons of different languages. So you'll see it up in the corner. If you just click there and select whatever language you need, it should translate the whole site for you. So just keep that in mind too. I want to make sure that you have all the tools you need to contact your elected officials and to make your voice heard and to advance the kind of world that you want to see.